And will it continue? We will find out. We will get the weekend forecast from Channel 4 Chief Meteorologist this afternoon at about 2:50. Very much looking forward to that. This rain, they have that the hurricane, which is now, I guess, a tropical storm going through Florida. I have some pictures. I'll have to post these on my Twitter at Tony Colombo Talk. My daughter, who lives in Orlando, was sending some pictures and some videos last night of, it was she's in Orlando. She's not getting hit by the worst part of the storm. So it's nothing like that, but it's a really bad storm and there's a lot of wind. And, she's at one point before it got there and started raining, she was trying to shoot a video outside and take pictures and her hair is just like flying all over her face and you can't see anything. And then, so that was yesterday and last night. And then this morning she texted me and, I said, is everything all right down there? Because they were, concerned that they may lose power or something like that overnight. And this morning she texted me and said, on my way to work, sunny and hot. So they're past it, at least there in Florida, or at least in Orlando, it seems like. We will get to our weather from Steve Templeton, like I said, a little bit later on, about 40 minutes from now here on Colombo and Company. Also, speaking of the weather tonight, the Billy Joel Sting concert at Busch Stadium that was scheduled for this evening has been rescheduled.
No way.
The concert has been moved to this Sunday, September 29th. So if you have your tickets, if you're going to that show tonight, hold on to your tickets and go Sunday.
Wild.
From Friday to Sunday. So
I feel like Billy Joel would play in the rain.
Same tickets will, yeah. But you don't want to make people go to the, sit in the rain. You don't want to make people go sit in the rain. So that concert tonight, if you had tickets, just hold on to those tickets and use them on Sunday night for the Billy Joel Sting concert that was supposed to be tonight at Busch Stadium, rescheduled for Sunday. All right, let's dive into some of the news of the day. We have with us on the line to start the show as we do every Friday, our good friend Gabe Pfeiffer from Mike Ferguson in the Morning. Gabe, hello.
You know what time it is.
You know what time it is. It's raining outside. And
sure is.
Yeah, but you know what? Hey, I don't want anybody dealing with a hurricane, and losing their homes or businesses down in Florida. But what we're getting here, we need it. We need the rain
absolutely.
Bad. I don't know what you know about your house, but my yard, there hasn't been a green blade of grass in our yard for months. So we definitely need the rain here. So I'll take it. I don't want it to rain necessarily all weekend. Hopefully Steve has some good news for us here in a little while. But
I was spending way too much on the my water bill, keeping my lawn green. So
yeah, see,
it's one or the other. You either keep the green in your pocket or put it on your yard.
Right. I did not do that. So my yard is not looking good. And the leaves are just everywhere in our
gosh, yeah. It's a weird part of the season where you get a little bit of fall and a little bit of summer / spring all at once.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know if it has to do with the lack of rain, if everything dried out, but it felt like the leaves started falling in our neighborhood like a month ago. Like for weeks they've been covering the ground. So hopefully this is good for all of that. Like I said, we'll get more information from Steve in about 40 minutes, about 2:45, 2:50 this afternoon. All right. We'll talk to Ken Williams from the Vic Porcelli Show. He's going to join us in studio in a few minutes as well. But let's start with Kamala Harris. Gabe, she is at the border today, even though nobody wants her at the border today.
I don't know why she did this. I honestly, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago on the morning show, that she was planning on doing this, and we just kind of looked at each other. It was like, why though? Why is she doing this? She doesn't pull well on this. It's usually something that a topic that she would run away from every opportunity she gets. So then why would she make a point of showing how bad the border situation is, as the freaking borders are?
Yeah. Well, her campaign says that she's been strong on the border.
Oh my God.
She's been strong on immigration. Yeah. So
so they drank the Kool-Aid too.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. And nobody else believes that. What I mean by nobody wants her there, I mean literally like nobody wants her there. The people working at the border do not want her there.
The Border Patrol does not.
Yeah.
Anybody from the Biden administration to show their face.
Vice President Kamala Harris is at the U.S.-Mexico border in Arizona today, the first time that she has been to the border since a visit to El Paso in 2021. and coming on the heels of her campaign being dogged by her past on the subject of illegal immigration. Harris has faced criticism not only from Trump and Republicans, but also from the Border Patrol Union, who argue that she is weak on border security. And they are, as I mentioned, not happy about her visiting today. The National Border Patrol Council put out a statement today saying, quote, after years of not just ignoring the problem, but helping create it, Vice President Kamala Harris is finally headed down to the border. This is nothing more than for her to check a box, but what it is in reality is a slap in the face towards the men and women that put their lives on the line every day, and also a slap in the face to the American public. Where has she been? That's from the Border Patrol.
Oh yeah, the Border Patrol has
the union, but I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah, they haven't been playing around with the Biden administration for a long time now. Do you remember that live fact check that they did during the Trump Biden debate, and where Biden talked about being endorsed by the Border Patrol, and they went on Twitter and they said, "No, Mr. President,
absolutely not."
I think it was something along the lines of, "We have not and we will not." Endorse.
I mean, that to me, that should say. I mean, I know this has been going on now for years. The Border Patrol has been very outspoken about this. You know, we've heard not just the union, but agents and leadership, criticize Joe Biden and criticize Kamala Harris. So nothing new here, obviously, but that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be something that is top of mind, like really important in this presidential election. If the people whose job it is to defend our borders, to protect our borders, are saying these people, they're not only bad at their job, they are actively making things worse and more dangerous, that should carry an awful lot of weight.
It should.
And I hope it does, but I'm not sure that it does. I'm not sure that I think the border has been such a mess for so long that people just glaze over the issue, and it doesn't hold the weight with voters as it should. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think?
I mean, there's certainly a lot of issues on the ground when it pertains to illegal immigration. We have people in the various city board meetings. You see video of them up in arms about not only the increases in crime and drugs in their neighborhoods, and just overcrowding, and new kids who don't speak English taking up all the resources in their schools, but also the indignation that comes with finding out how much taxpayer support is going towards the illegal immigrants themselves, and all the benefits that they're reaping being here illegally, and further clogging up all the services, the city services. You'd think that would result in a lot of pretty clear changes in voting, or clear changes in polling and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't show up, and I that's the part of it that I can't really put my finger on as to why that's so, except for the fact that if you're super indoctrinated and completely ignorant of the fact that there is an alternative, that the Republican Party is a viable alternative, you're just going to say, I'm going to yell at my elected Democrat representative, but I'm still going to vote for them. It's weird.
You know what? This is weird too. Donald Trump is at a campaign rally right now in Michigan, and it's on the television here. And as we're talking about this, I look up, and he's actually speaking about. We don't have to go to it, Emily, but he's actually speaking about this issue right now, and I'm able to read some of the words that he's saying there on the captions, the things that he's saying at this rally as we're having this conversation. Donald Trump just said at this rally, there's only three possible reasons that the Biden administration, Biden and Kamala have conducted themselves the way that they have done at the border. And it was, one, they're just dumb and don't know what they're doing. Two, right. They actually actively want these people to come into the United States to destroy our country. Or malice, three, they want the votes. They're trying to appeal to people for votes. He also put up a couple of different stats that were released recently by ICE, which say ICE, a new report says 15,811 non-citizens convicted of sex crimes are in the United States right now. 13,099 non-citizens convicted of homicide are in the United States right now. Near 29,000 non-citizen sexual predator, rapists, murderers in the U.S. Okay, I mean, I think that's just an addition of the two together. So 29,000 total of either sex offenders or murderers that shouldn't be here are here, and that a total of more than 435,000 non-citizen criminals are in the United States right now.
Yep.
These are the numbers from ICE. So this isn't like Donald Trump just making up his own numbers, like Joe Biden with his million, billion, trillion, million, gazillion, trillion. These are the numbers from ICE. And like I said, this could be, you could make the argument that this is the most important issue of this presidential election, because
it should be a scandal.
It affects so much. It literally impacts the entire country. And it's, I was about to say it's getting out of control. It is beyond out of control. It is beyond out of control.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope that I hope that it carries the weight with voters in November as it should. And if we keep talking about it and we keep, people are aware of just how bad it is, and, they hear these numbers and things like that, maybe it will. But right now, I feel like it's not making that impact. What right now do you feel like are the issues that are resonating the most with voters? I know that's a really wide question, because you could, in different regions or, with different demographics, there can be, that answer could sort of change. But what do you think are the issues right now that have the most momentum or the most connection with voters?
I think the economy is still a really big one.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one that drives a lot of people, at least to think about, what the policies that are on the table. But another one, and this is generally not a great for our side, is the abortion question, because it's framed as a freedom question. It's framed as some sort of existential crisis for women's rights. So then, when you frame it that way, you can easily say, well, I'd rather pay high groceries, but I still get my freedom. So that's one of the reasons why, painting it in such a light is in the favor of Democrats, with why they do it. So it's going to be a tough one. I mean, the kitchen table issue of the economy should be a no-brainer, but that's kind of what we thought when we were waiting on the red wave that wasn't. If you remember correctly, it was pretty clear what all the polls were saying. Hey, what's their number one topic this election? The economy. Which party do you think would do the best in that number one topic? The Republicans. So then, what the heck happened? So
no kidding.
So it's hard for me to wrap my head around the brains of many voters these days in America. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I think you're spot on. I think you're exactly right about the economy. I think that's always going to be a big one. I also think that, crime just in general, and obviously you could tie the border into that issue, but I think crime that we're seeing on the streets of big cities and things like that are making a bigger connection than what we're talking about at the border with voters. I think that's a big one right now as well.
But Tony, Kamala says that crime's at an all-time low, don't you know?
Yeah, and the border is great, and yeah.
Yeah.
That is what she says. I'm not sure I believe her. Before we get Ken in here and switch topics here, I have another story that's going to make everybody, I think, laugh and roll their eyes. A little bit of bad news. The actress Dame Maggie Smith, Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter. Oh no, Emily, are you a Harry Potter fan or just a Maggie?
I mean, no, like not publicly, but like
I am publicly
around the fall time. I'm not a nerd or anything. No,
I'm very publicly. I have a Severus Snape wand in my office. Yeah. So
I'm a Gryffindor.
Yeah, she Maggie Smith.
That's so upsetting.
Has died at the age of 89. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I know. Very, very, very sad. And man, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and have no problem admitting to it. All right,
well,
go ahead.
We don't start with as many cool points as Emily does.
Yeah, no kidding.
We don't have much.
My cool points have all they're all gone. They've been gone for about 20
I gave
years.
up mine back in middle school.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. All right, we're gonna roll on here with Gabe and Ken Williams from the Vic Porcelli Show. Going to also join us in studio. MSNBC having a conversation this morning on the Joe Scarborough Show. Even MSNBC, even Joe and Mika admitted that Kamala Harris has a problem with male voters. They proposed a solution. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Okay. It's hilarious. I will, and I have the sound. It's so you can hear it for yourself. That it's not just something that we are that I'm taking out of context. I'll play the sound for you. I guess their plan, their strategy for Kamala Harris to connect with men. I'm not sure it's going to work. We'll talk about it next here on Colombo Company.
Told them you were living downtown.
This is what's happening.
As a 14-year-old, he will be charged with murder and he will be tried as an adult.
My values have not changed.
She's a Marxist.
If she wants to yell at Donald Trump, she can go to hell.
101.9 and 94.1.
Number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
We talk about this weather out there, and I talked about my daughter being down in Florida. I actually, this week, got a little proactive and went to intervine.com and bought a couple of flashlights for my daughter and her fiance down there in Florida because this weather that was coming their way, and was able to use my own name, Tony, as a promo code and got 25% off the batteries and the flashlights. I'm telling you, you've heard Mike McCleary. He's our tech expert that joins us every Monday here on the show. He is the owner of Intervine, local family-owned business that makes the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps on the market, from the very, the very high tech, high level, of those devices, flashlights, lanterns, headlamps. If you're like a hardcore outdoorsman, or you just want a small, reliable flashlight for your vehicle or something, reliable for your home, they have it all at Intervine. As I mentioned, they also have batteries in all different sizes, so you could just stock up on batteries and save a bunch of money by going to intervine.com and using my name, Tony, as your promo code. Intervine is INTERVINE, and use my name, Tony, as your promo code. Intervine.com.
When it comes to spending your tax dollars and teaching your kids, governments and school districts should be an open book. But in Missouri, that's not always the case. Recently, the Show Me Institute sent out a sunshine law request to school districts across the state, asking for information on whether certain topics are being taught. Specifically, a controversial one called critical race theory was included in the list. Many districts didn't respond. Some wanted to charge large fees to process the documents. Lee's Summit outside Kansas City wanted over $35,000. A rural district, Morgan County, wanted $15,000. The Sunshine Law does allow charging a reasonable fee for sending out information, but there's nothing reasonable about $35,000 or $15,000. These districts should want to be transparent about their curriculums. Taxpayers deserve to know what their kids are being taught. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Oh, Adam, you are so romantic. And I love the kitchen you found with all these great crumbs.
Yeah, baby. Only the finest crumbs in the kitchen for my favorite aunt. Oh, no. It's the Pest Control Company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. We'd love to help you out. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Replacing your roof is always a big deal and a big decision. That's why I want you to call my friends, the folks that we've trusted with our homestead, Eureka Contracting and Roofing. 636-938-ROOF. That's 636-938-ROOF. They are veteran-owned, over 30 years of experience in the construction and insurance industry. They'll replace 100% of your roof, siding, fascia, and gutters. They'll come to you with a personal consultation. Give them a call anytime that Mother Nature strikes you. 636-938-ROOF. Available 24/7 at eurekacontracting.com. That's eurekacontracting.com.
Live and local.
Well, here's what's on my mind. I think I got the solution to immigration.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
Mr. Worldwide to infinity. You know the roof on fire. We go boogie, oogie, oogie, jiggle, wiggle, and dance like the roof on fire. We go drink drinks and take till we fall out like the roof on fire.
Go Tony.
Yeah. Yeah, like that.
Pitbull. I don't know what you're talking about.
He was here too.
Yeah.
Pitbull was just here
That's why I put it
too.
in.
He was
Bunch
here.
of my
At,
friends went.
he was here at the amphitheater like a week or so ago. Speaking of concerts, another quick reminder here about the Billy Joel Sting concert, which was supposed to be tonight at Busch Stadium. It has been rescheduled due to weather. So if you have tickets to that big show, hold on to them, and they will be good to go on Sunday night. So
It's raining.
this coming Sunday, 2 days from now.
It's raining.
I know, but you know what? If I
Is
spend,
it an outdoor venue?
I don't. What's that?
Was it an outdoor venue?
Busch
Where were
Stadium.
they?
Busch Stadium.
Yeah, Busch Stadium. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
So right. It was. I listen. I get like, you know, it's just rain. But if I don't think these tickets were that cheap. And
No.
you know, if you can just wait a couple days and not be sitting in the rain, I'm actually okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm actually okay.
I didn't know it was outside.
Yeah, Busch Stadium tonight. So if you have those tickets, again, just hold on to them. Show has been rescheduled to Sunday, and your tickets for tonight will work on Sunday. That's what's happening there. All right, Ken Williams from the Vic Porcelli Show in studio with us. Gabe Pfeiffer from Mike Ferguson in the Morning, also still on the line. And Ken, I just mentioned to Gabe that MSNBC and Joe Scarborough have even admitted that Kamala Harris has a big problem with male voters across the country. And they addressed that issue this morning on their show. And they have a solution. They have a plan.
Oh, really?
They have
Okay.
a plan to fix it.
Now, but before you go on, can I guess?
Oh,
Can I guess?
yeah, please.
Does it
Please.
involve transitioning?
No,
I mean, this is the Democrats we're talking about. Like, it's MSNBC. I mean, they may be thinking, hey, if she was a man, they'd vote for her.
Yeah. Gender
I mean,
transitioning or party transitioning? Which transition are you talking
Well,
about?
if it's Democrat, it's gender transition.
It would be gender. It would
Yeah.
be a gender.
Yeah,
transition.
no,
Yeah.
no, that's
Okay,
not
so
it.
it doesn't involve that. Okay. So
No.
All right.
It is that ridiculous though.
Okay.
You want to make a guess, Ken? I wasn't going to make it, but
Man, I you know what? I couldn't even begin to guess. I just want to hear the answer.
So here it is. So this is from this morning from the Joe Scarborough Show on MSNBC. This is, what is her name? Katty K. This is Scarborough, regular contributor. Maybe if you watch this show, you know a little bit more about this woman. But Katty K speaking with Joe and Mika this morning about Kamala's problem with male voters and how they should address it.
So much resources into that, but it's men. I mean, I think the real struggle for the Harris campaign is young men, older men, men of color, white men, and they are doing all they can. You can see, I think the debate next week will be really interesting to see how Tim Walz reaches out to that group.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Emhoff, who I interviewed yesterday, I think we've got a clip of that we can have later on the program. He is making a concerted effort in his own way to reach out to that group. They know that that's where
Tim Walz is going to reach out to the men at the vice presidential debate and for the rest of this campaign. And Doug Emhoff is going to take to the road to talk to men, man to man, and let them know why they're going to connect. So Stolen Valor, Mr. Stolen Valor, Tampon Tim Walz, and Doug Hide Your Babysitter Emhoff are going to be the two guys that connect with male voters.
Could you
You got me with that one.
Could you find 2 more beta males to get the guys to join the team?
Are you kidding me?
I mean, this is a guy. First of all, the flailing arms every time Tim Walls walks in a room.
Yeah.
That's not going to help.
Yeah.
I get Richard Simmons energy out of that man
Big
all day.
time, and so no, that's not going to help. I would say my if I had a guess, it would have been something like Kamala Harris promise not to cackle. If I don't cackle, will I get a couple of extra votes from the men?
I think that's a better approach than sending Doug Emhoff out on the campaign trail.
That's terrible, man.
Can you imagine, Gabe, if Doug Emhoff said, hey, Gabe, let me sit down and talk with you man to man about why my wife is the person to vote for.
It's like, all right, first of all, take a step back. It's like, don't touch me. And also, he's like, I'm not sure you count. Your man card was rescinded when your junk got put in the lockbox over there.
Yes. Mr. Stolen Valor, Tampaign. Why do I keep saying Tampaign?
Because he's on the campaign. It's Tampaign Tim.
Mr. Stolen Valor, Tampon Tim Walls, and Doug Hide Your Babysitter Emhoff.
Wow.
Are the ones that are going.
You know that meme where I can't remember the actor's name, but he's got an old man face, and he walks up with a skateboard slung over his shoulder in a high school. He's like, "Hello, fellow children."
Fellow young people. Yes.
Fellow young people. Yes, hello, fellow men.
That's it. Exactly.
I love the idea that they're trying that, but it's just not going to work.
No, it's not going to work. But it'll wait to hear it.
It'll work about as well as when they sent Kamala Harris out to try and persuade black men to vote Democrat that one time. Yeah. Remember, because like, hey, look, our skin is the same shade.
Yeah,
and that's all that matters. That should be enough. That should be enough for your vote. Yeah, I can't wait to see. Because
Steve Buscemi.
They go
That's
into
his
this.
name.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Thank you, Virginia Cruda.
So there's more. They go into this, and there's more. There's they talk about it more, and then they also even give some specifics from the campaign. Doug Emhoff is very seriously going to be going on the campaign trail with the directive of connecting with male voters. I mean, I can't wait to see this. I can't what is his message?
Yeah, what's he going to say?
That message? What could that message possibly be to conservative men, to get them to vote for his extremely progressive wife who has been complicit in destroying the country for the last several years?
We're gun owners too. We're not gonna take your guns, and we're parents too. We understand. You don't want men destroying the sports that you take your daughters to, or showing up in the locker room with your young ladies. We understand. We understand. I mean, we're not gonna do anything about it, but we feel your pain.
You've slept with your nanny, right? I mean, we all. I mean, that's like, what does he want to say?
Yeah, well, that's like, are you going to really relate to men that way? I don't think, because there are a lot of men out there who have not done that.
No,
okay, just so you know, Doug.
Yeah.
Just there are a lot of us that have not done that.
One, we don't have a nanny, and two,
right.
And then Tim Walls is just a buffoon. I mean,
oh yeah.
The more I was talking about this yesterday with about Kamala Harris, the more that she taught, I played, I think, 2 different word salads that were less than 24 hours old, like 2 more ridiculous pieces of sound from Kamala Harris that just happened in the last day.
Yeah.
And, she did that ridiculous interview with Stephanie Ruhle earlier this week as well. But I truly believe that every time she talks, she makes it work. Like, she damages her campaign.
Yeah.
Like, more people see and hear her, the more she's exposed for not having any answers, not having any plans, and not being smart, just, period. So I think the more she talks, the worse it gets. And if their plan is to put Doug Emhoff and Tim Walls more on the campaign trail, I think it's the same thing. I think the more voters see Tim Walls out there flailing around, Ken, it makes it worse for the Kamala Harris campaign?
Well, first of all, I don't believe that that's the real reason why they're bringing those two out there. They're bringing those two out there more because they want her out there less. Yeah. That seriously, you can
which I get,
say,
but they're just as bad.
But they are, but at least it's not her. See, this is the problem. They're hiding her. You can let them be fools. That's fine. But as long as people don't see Kamala Harris being the fool, they're going to bring all these different surrogates out there just so she's not out there. I'm telling you, that is part of their plan, because she cannot say anything. Wait till she gets philosophical and she start here. All right, guys, that Vic Porcelli is big on tells. Playing poker, I can see through you because you have tells. Right. Well, I'm picking up on that stuff too, and I was watching her, and when she goes like this, she goes, takes that big deep breath, she's in trouble. And because she'll start getting
reaching in her bag.
And she gets very philosophical. And at that very second, you're not going to get the answer.
Yeah. And you never get the answer.
No.
But Tim Walz is still on the ticket. So, even if he looks bad, I don't think it makes people forget about how bad Kamala is. I think it just drives home the point. But to your point, Ken, I agree with you. I think that they are trying to hide her because they know that every time she goes out,
look at her interview.
You're exactly right. I think you're exactly right. But the problem is they don't have anybody. Think about that. I'm just taking that, a step further down the line. Like there's not any Democrats at all that would be a good surrogate for Kamala Harris. When you look at the Republican side, like him or not, Ted Cruz doesn't embarrass himself when he's out speaking.
I get
There's people like Mike Lee and Thomas Massey and Tim Scott and and JD Vance,
RFK Jr.
Yeah, and Brian Donalds. I mean, I've been really impressed with Vivek Ramaswamy recently.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Is Republican? I don't know, but yes, you're exactly right. Like there are other people that go out and do interviews and endorse Donald Trump that do a good job and can maybe
they can be surrogates without embarrassing the campaign,
and can maybe cover up some of the things that people don't like about Donald Trump. They can be more calm. They can be less name calling and things like that. Which I'm not saying
that can be a little more intellectual.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's a big problem or anything. I'm just saying like they can cover up perceived issues with Donald Trump. The Democrats have none of that. There's not a Democrat that can go out to a campaign event or go on an interview and represent Kamala Harris without looking just as bad.
Well,
that's how bad the party is.
No, I agree with that part of it, but I think part of their problem is they don't have a good policy. They don't have They don't have good policy. So when you got someone, even if like a Hakeem Jeffries, Mr. MAGA extremist guy, he'll go out there and he'll say that 5 times before he even says a policy. But when he goes out there, he can't lean on a policy. He can't say, well, the economy was great for the last 4 years. You got Tim Walz coming out and saying, the economy sucked for the last 4 years. We need to make a change, people. I mean, that's what he's saying on his own, campaign.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gabe.
I'm back. I don't know what you guys.
Yeah. You did cut out there for a second. I heard you cut off. I didn't know if you were all the way gone or not. Yeah, we were just talking about how the Republicans and Donald Trump have other people that can go out and campaign or go on television and do interviews and endorse Trump and bring and have a positive impact on voters. I don't think the Democrats, we're making fun of Tim Walz and Doug Emhoff, but I think you start thinking about just the Democrats in general. They don't have anybody like that. That's how pathetic that party's leadership is, that they don't have anybody that can go out there and do that for her.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you run through the sort of bench that Trump is building, and also that the Republicans kind of have, and Vivek Ramaswamy, he can speak in a very interesting way, where to specific issues. He's kind of got the new fresh vibe going on him, so he can get in the heads of young people a little bit better. Tulsi Gabbard can help do the whole reach across the aisle thing. RFK Jr. has his very specific topics where he can speak with a level of specificity that Trump usually lacks. So generally speaking, what you want out of your staple of surrogates is people who can shore up a campaign where the main candidate might have, a little bit of weakness. But the thing is that the Harris-Walz campaign is basically all weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. I want to switch gears here real quick. One more topic. While we still have a couple minutes here with Gabe Pfeiffer from Mike Ferguson in the Morning and Ken Williams from the Vic Porcelli Show. We're going to get that weekend forecast from Channel 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton in a little less than 10 minutes. Definitely keep it here for that. Gabe, I think it was you that mentioned guns a minute ago. And it's interesting that you did, because the NRA is making a little bit of news today, because they have put out a statement accusing Meta, Facebook, of election interference after the social media platform cracked down on social media posts that Facebook said were spreading false information about Vice President Kamala Harris. What's interesting about this is that Zuckerberg was just went through this a couple weeks ago and said, you know what, we're out of like messing around with presidential election. We're not going to be censoring posts or anything like that anymore. We learned our lesson. We're done with that.
He's a liar.
He's a liar, because here we go. It's already back
Sorry.
in the news. The NRA has criticized Harris for her liberal gun control stance, something that she has attempted to distance herself from as the Democratic presidential nominee. On September 18th, the NRA shared a 2007 clip of Harris, then the San Francisco DA, talking tough on the city's efforts against handguns. We talked about this story. I'm sure you guys talked about this story as well. We talked about the story here on the show and read the quotes and everything, where Kamala Harris, that the video surfaced of her saying, quote, just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into your home and check and see if you're being responsible. That was what she said in 2007. Walking into your home, even if acknowledging that you're a legal gun owner, we're still going to come in and check and make sure that you are safely storing that gun. The NRA posted that video, which was a very popular story, and along with the caption that said that Kamala Harris is coming for your guns if she's elected president. And Facebook struck those videos, put a disclaimer on them saying that they were false and that they were spreading misinformation. And you know what? That not only is this a story about that censorship, it's also a flip test story, because that would never happen to a Democratic candidate. Ken, you're
not even by quote unquote mistake, like they often say. It's like,
sure.
that was done in error. Don't know, nothing to see here, move along. That's what they do sometimes. But not even in a quote unquote mistake would you see something like that happen in reverse.
You're so right. Ken, go ahead.
No, I know this is a Facebook story, but they're just liars. I mean, the guy, he even said he was having nothing to do with politics. I think to divert people away, saying, oh, no, he's not, even though the actions are speaking louder than whatever words he lied about. Okay. Let's just focus for 1 second on Kamala Harris and her power grab. This woman should not become president, because she is. You just played a quote or mentioned a quote there. That was a very authoritarian, totalitarian, communist type of
come into your. She even went out of her way to say locked home. Come into your
Tony.
locked home.
I play a clip almost every day now, and I want to make sure I remind everybody that she's the one who said, "I'm going to basically take over, and I have the power to destroy you."
Yeah.
She said, her words were, "I have the power with the stroke of a pen."
Yes.
To destroy a person's life, his job, his marriage, his home, just with the stroke of my pen, the power I have. Someone even mentioning it like that is scary.
Yeah, no, that is such a great point, because the Biden Harris administration and what the Harris administration will continue down the path of is the biggest, as you said, Ken, power grab that I have ever seen. They want to control every aspect of your life. They want to have every control over every aspect of your life. And that is that is something that voters need to know as we get closer.
And when she tries to flip it over and she's like, no, that's not what we would do. Nobody's coming from your guns. And just always remember, her values have not changed.
And Facebook is a part of this control thing.
Yeah, right after he said he's not doing this anymore, this story happens. So now that's everything you need to know about Facebook.
Apparently his values haven't changed
and
either.
Zuckerberg, for sure. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Gabe Pfeiffer from Mike Ferguson in the morning. You can hear every weekday morning starting 5:30 a.m. here on News Talk STL. You can also follow Gabe on his YouTube channel, St. John the Philosopher. And, of course, Ken Williams with Vic Porcelli every weekday morning, 9 a.m. here on News Talk STL. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, have a dry
Thanks,
weekend.
guys.
Yeah, we're going to find out. We're
Yeah.
going to find out how dry, if at all, this weekend is going to be when we talk to Channel 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton next on Colombo Company.
If you think I'm burning out, I never am. I'm on fire.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
What the heck is Project 2025? Admiral Chuck Williams explains at 5:20. Patrick Toohey, Missouri. Film tax credits.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
It is an exciting time of year if you enjoy the great outdoors. Hunting season is here. Archery season is here in the state of Missouri. It's right around the corner in Illinois. Trapping season also here. Still a lot of great weeks left in the fishing season, and Bluff City Outdoors in Alton has all of the stuff that you need to prepare for your next trip into the great outdoors. They got all the stuff that you need to, if you need to repair your bow for archery season, or you just need new equipment, they've got you covered there. They also have all your trapping needs covered. And of course, for decades, Bluff City Outdoor has been the go-to place for fishermen in the area. But since they expanded the store a couple of years ago, they put in the state-of-the-art archery range, which is open every day to shoot in. They now have all those additional products and services to serve you, especially this time of year with all of this great these great outdoor activities right here for us. Bluff City Outdoors is about a mile east of Fast Eddie's. They're in Alton on Broadway. They're open 7 days a week. Go out there and check them out. And also, don't forget about the Bluff City Outdoors show, hosted by myself and Mark McMurray from Bluff City Outdoors, which you can hear every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. and Sundays at noon right here on News Talk STL. Learn about everything happening at Bluff City Outdoors by following them on Facebook and at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents, and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. The city was booming. Unfortunately, St. Louis City streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline. St. Louis City Republicans believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. Learn more at stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican Pat Curtis, Farber Treasurer.
Are you ready to stand against tyranny, strengthen the conservative movement, and enjoy tasty barbecue? Don't miss the 4th annual Missouri Young Republicans Freedom Fest Barbecue. Join us Saturday, October 12th at the St. Louis County GOP headquarters in Fenton. We've got an exciting lineup of invited speakers and mouthwatering barbecue. RSVP now at stlyrs.com. That's stlyrs.com. Presented by News Talk STL and Missouri Young Republicans.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. Doug and Safe Money Radio is on 3 times every weekend, but in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com or call 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Mom, can we go to Kirkwood Popco? Oh, you bet. With 19 flavors and new surprises every month, it's a popcorn paradise.
Kirkwood Popco. Family owned and popping up smiles in the heart of Kirkwood. We're talking real butter, authentic spices and flavors, and it's peanut free, so everyone can enjoy. From party favors to teacher gifts, Kirkwood Popco has you covered. Tins, bags, even popcorn bars. They've got it all.
Trust me, it's popping good.
Find them at 108 North Kirkwood Road and kirkwoodpopco.com.
Hello, Tim Jones here with Eric from Newsteaders Fine Jewelers. Eric, your diamonds are so fantastic at Newsteaders. You named the website after them, wowdiamonds.com. Tell us about Wow Diamonds.
Well, we picked that name because when people look at the diamonds, they all exclaim the same thing. Everybody says, wow. And nobody can spell Newsteaders, so we figured Wow Diamonds would definitely be good tagline, and it's very accurate. We actually introduced the lab-grown diamond to our St. Louis family, and we're the exclusive home of the trademark marked Wow Diamond. It's the most perfectly cut and polished diamond you'll ever experience, and we can fit one into anyone's budget. The thing that's nice about them is they're significantly less expensive than a mined diamond, and of course the artwork is in the cutting and polishing. That's where you get the beauty in the diamond, and that's what we excel at.
Newsteaders, a St. Louis jewelry tradition since 1961. Stop by and find out why. 2961 Daughtery Ferry Road, or on the internet, wowdiamonds.com for Newsteaders. Fine jewelers.
Steve Templeton's Weekend Forecast, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.994.1 News Talk STL. We're going to be joined by the guys from the Haunted Garage paranormal show that you can hear every Saturday night here on News Talk STL. They are going to be in studio with us in about 15 minutes, so keep it here for that. Right now, it is time to get the all-important weekend forecast from Channel 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. Steve, it's raining out there right now, and it's colder than we've, I think, had in a very long time. Does it continue?
It does, but there'll be a little break. We expect a little break this evening. So everything's going to still be damp. I mean, the ground's going to be wet, but the steady rain may actually break somewhere between like 7 to maybe 9 or 10. And then after that, we get hit with more scattered showers overnight tonight. So we're not completely done, but there may be a little break. The thing is, it's going to be really windy this evening. It already is pretty windy out there now, but some gusts in St. Louis, maybe 30 to 40 miles an hour. In the Illinois side, 45 miles per hour. That's where we have a wind advisory through 1 a.m. So expect a windy and wet evening. Even if there is a little break, things are going to be damp. There's some more showers on the way this weekend, but it's not like today. I think that's important to stress. It's not like an all-day washout thing, but there's a 30% chance for a few showers on Saturday. It'll be breezy, a low of 64 and a high of 74. The afternoon to evening is the best timing for a few of these showers. I don't expect them to last too long. If you get a little wet, just have the umbrella handy and then it'll move on. So it's, again, not like today. Sunday, about a 20% chance, a spot shower too, high of 76 degrees. So mid-70s over the weekend, may get hit with a quick shower, but again, nothing like what we've been dealing with today.
And we needed this badly, right? And this is the kind of rain we needed. Like, not one big just like washout quick hit, like a soaking rain. Is probably
this is a good soaking rain. You're right about that, because even the heavy rain that we got, almost 5 inches from Sunday, Monday, some of that was so heavy, a lot of it runs off. So even though, you look at the rain deficit we had and we caught up rain deficit wise because of that rain, a lot of it didn't really soak in. So this is kind of nice to get a good soaking rain out there. That's for sure.
And then we've talked a couple times this afternoon already about the announcement that was made by Busch Stadium and the Cardinals a little earlier this afternoon. The big concert at Busch Stadium that was scheduled for tonight, Billy Joel and Sting at Busch Stadium, has been moved to Sunday. So everybody's just 2 days from today, the 27th, to Sunday, the 29th. If you have your tickets to that show, you're supposed to hold on to your tickets, use them on Sunday. A good move, you think, by the Cardinals at Busch Stadium? You think Sunday evening, at least for that show, has got a decent chance of being a dry day for the concert?
Weather-wise, it does look better, sure. I mean, it's a 20% chance, so we could have a shower in the afternoon to early evening. It would taper off by concert time if we did get hit, and it would be brief. It wouldn't be like today. So unlike today, where you'd kind of want to bring a towel to the stadium to wipe everything off, which, by the way, that's a good idea if you're going to Friday night football games. Yeah. You wouldn't have to do that on Sunday night. And it's going to be warmer, 76 for the high Sunday. So, may drop down to about 70 or upper 60s by concert time. It's not as windy. That's another factor I was wondering, and I don't know the answer because I haven't talked to the concert promoters, but I wonder if 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts worried them with that big stage set up in Busch Stadium. I don't know if that played a factor or not.
Yeah, I probably did. I would think that it would. I think ultimately a good move by them. My daughter, Steve, my oldest daughter, lives in Orlando, Florida. So she was sending me some videos and pictures over the last day or so about, as the storm hit them, and obviously didn't hit them nearly as hard as it did other places in Florida, but it was pretty intense. Some of those pictures and videos that she sent, and it was all last night, yesterday evening, and then overnight. And then this morning I check in on her and say, like, hey, everything all right? Just thought maybe she'd lose power overnight. She ended up not. She said, driving to work, sunny and hot. So it's already past
this thing really
there.
accelerated, and it's completely dry.
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
now, which they need because some are actually cleaning up after all the mess. But it really did accelerate, and it accelerated up, into like West Virginia, Kentucky, that area, and it's going to merge with another low. So it accelerated out of Florida, but now it's kind of slowing down. It's going to hang out for a couple of days. That's why we have those rain chances this weekend, but it's definitely not like what we've been dealing with today.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is any of that storm having impact on what we're experiencing, or are we talking about two separate things?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It's not single-handedly responsible for it. There's an upper level low that's going to actually be the dominant player, and it'll absorb. It's kind of interesting to see these two systems. They're going to merge together, and so it's going to be absorbed. Helene is going to be absorbed into this low. But definitely Helene is responsible for basically the conveyor belt of moisture. We wouldn't have this much steady rain if it weren't for Helene. So Helene's definitely responsible for that. And of course the winds.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Steve, really appreciate it as always. Thanks for the information and the insight and keeping us informed about what's going on out there. Hope you have a great weekend yourself, my friend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Tony. Take care.
You bet. Great stuff there from Steve Templeton, Channel 4 Chief Meteorologist. As we mentioned, also next week starts October. And, that also means Halloween season. And every Friday now through Halloween, we are being joined in studio by our friends from the Haunted Garage, which you can hear every Saturday night here on News Talk STL. The guys from the Haunted Garage are here, and they will join us live in studio next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Craving the most delicious pizza in town? Head to Monocle's on Highway K in the heart of O'Fallon. From thin crust to pan pizza, gluten-free options, and every topping imaginable. Monocle's has you covered. Indulge in mouth-watering calzones, party-sized salads, and our famous sweet and tart dressing. Family-owned and locally operated, Monocle's serves up love and care with every bite. Dine in or carry out, and don't forget to try our banana-licious monkey bread for dessert. Order online at monocles.com or stop in today and tell them News Talk STL sent you.
Fall is hopping in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Every weekend, enjoy festivals and events, including the third Saturdays in Mount Vernon Flea Market and Vendor Fair, concerts at the Granada Theater, special events at C.E. Brem Memorial Library, Rev Up at Mount Vernon Fall Fest, Cedarhurst Ironclad Art Motorcycle Show, Jefferson County Historical Village Heritage Festival, and so much more. Celebrate creativity redefined all month long in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Find out more information at enjoymountvernon.com. Brought to you in part by Mount Vernon Tourism and Enjoy Illinois.
KLDY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Former President Donald Trump met this morning with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in New York City. Their meeting at Trump Tower took place one day after Zelensky appeared with a number of Democratic Party candidates for the House and Senate in Pennsylvania. on the Salem Media Group news program This Week on the Hill with Tony Perkins. House Speaker Mike Johnson criticized the Ukrainian president's appearance at that meeting.
I think it was wildly inappropriate. And if I were President Zelensky, I would be doing everything I could do to ensure the support of all Americans of both parties. He cannot afford to breach that line, and he shouldn't have done that.
Speaker Johnson's full interview can be heard tomorrow morning on This Week on the Hill, which will also be broadcast at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on the Salem News Channel. Former President Trump speaking in Walker, Michigan, commenting on a new ICE report that 13,000 convicted murderers have entered the country through a porous southern border during the Biden administration. Also at townhall.com, the death toll from Hurricane Helene has reached at least 30 across 4 states. The deaths occurred in Florida, Georgia, and both Carolinas. AP videographer Stephen Smith reporting there is extensive water and wind damage in Florida's Dixie County, along the northeast edge of the Gulf Coast.
A lot of the coastal communities north of Tampa are just inundated. There's certain areas that we can't even get in because they are still doing search and rescue missions. But on my drive in from Crawfordville to Dixie County, I had seen a number of power poles pushed over, a number of trees snapped in half, debris in the road.
Hurricane Helene has since weakened into a tropical depression. Stocks finishing mixed. The Dow up 126 points, but the NASDAQ composite lost 70. More at townhall.com.
How would you define your relationship with sleep? Are there challenges, trouble falling asleep, or staying asleep? Here's the thing about sleep. It's the foundation of whole body health. Good sleep is both mental and physical, and our daily performance depends on it. So how do you get to your dream state? 3 words. Beam's Dream Powder, a science-backed, healthy hot cocoa for sleep. This product will single-handedly change the way you sleep for the better. Text Beam to 717-767. That's BEAM to 717-767 for up to 40% off. Other sleep aids can cause next-day grogginess, but Dream is an all-natural blend of ingredients like magnesium and melatonin to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. And for a limited time, you can get a special discount on Beam's Dream Powder, their science-backed healthy hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar. Text Beam to 717-767 for up to 40% off. That's BEAM to...
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Kristen Cornett with your forecast. Rain likely today. It's going to be windy as well. A wind advisory kicks in for areas east of St. Louis this afternoon. Wind gusts as high as 45 miles per hour. Today's high only 70 degrees. Scattered showers start to taper off tonight. We'll drop to 65. And then for Saturday, a cloudy day with a high of 75. It's going to be breezy. Wind gusts up to about 30 miles per hour. And then there's a 40% chance of scattered showers, mainly during the afternoon hours. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Kristen Cornett.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Fox News commentary.
California's governor is really bent out of shape that even Californians want to crack down on crime. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013, 800-444-2013, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-444-2013.
This is what's happening.
Moscow has declared a state of emergency in the Kursk region.
Ukraine is proving that it can indeed restore justice.
Our future and our freedom is at stake in this election.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
It's astounding. Time is fleeting. Madness takes its toll. But listen closely.
Not for very much longer.
Dance. I love this song, man. I love this movie.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL. That's right.
First time I ever was allowed to put on music at the station. This is the song I chose, and that
Was
was
it?
my introduction to into being on.
Oh,
the
I think
show.
I remember that. Yeah.
So my first day touching buttons, and this is like my go-to.
We mentioned it earlier that unbelievably, this is the last weekend. We're going to the last weekend of September. October starts next week on Tuesday. Actually, quick change of subject. Speaking of the first day of October, Tuesday the 1st, that is the day of the vice presidential debate, and we have our vice presidential debate watch party happening that night out at Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge. Tim and Chris are doing their show live there that afternoon from 4 to 6. Then they're going to have some pre-debate conversation and preview there live at Johnny's Hideout between 6 and 8. And then, of course, the debate starts at 8 o'clock. So if you're looking for somewhere to watch the debate and have a good time, Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge is the place to go. It's all brought to you by Blue Sky Promotions and Apparel and Freddy's Market. And you can get more details at newstalkstl.com. We're also going to be carrying that debate live here on the station as well. So October is here. It's the month of Halloween, and that is why starting a couple weeks ago and now all the way through Halloween, we are going to have the guys from the Haunted Garage in studio with us every Friday. Frankie and Dan are back here again, and it is great to see both of you. How are you?
Good. We're great. Yeah. Jeremy's here, always in spirit.
And Jeremy is always here in spirit as well.
But Jeremy,
also,
I just
want to get
people,
him down and
we got a
back
couple,
in the studio.
Exactly. We got some messages about that. Like, hey, is Dan the new? I go, Dan is new. He's our third chair, but Jeremy is a teacher. He teaches. He's a good man, and
right.
So he's doing the teaching thing, and so he's probably just getting out of class right now and dealing with some knuckleheads. So
we're just gonna have to bring a little figure for Jeremy and just set him right here.
Well, if Colombo would go later, change your whole show for one
we'll
segment.
have a conversation with Tim and Chris. Maybe we'll switch for the month of October. We'll switch airtime.
It is.
So of course tomorrow night, every Saturday night, you can hear Haunted Garage here on News Talk STL. There's always so many different conversations that we can have, especially now that Halloween season is here. There's so many things that to talk about, but and this seems to happen also every week. A conversation starts off the air, and it's like whatever I planned on talking about, all of a sudden we're halfway into a discussion before we even start the segment, and we were talking about Ouija boards just now off the air. And
blame Emily for that.
And that is and that will be
it's all her fault.
That'll be that's always Ouija boards. I mean, that's a staple of Halloween stories and haunted. So what are your Frankie, you first, what are your thoughts about the Ouija board? Are they legit? Can you contact the other side? Are they dangerous, or is it all just a gimmick? What are your thoughts?
It's really the one area of the paranormal that is probably the most talked about from a possession standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, in my opinion, it is very dangerous. My whole crew and joining Dan recently with his crew, and now we're one crew in Haunted Souls Paranormal, and as our ghost team. I mean, we do not allow them on the premises of our locations.
Wow.
Because the problem is that you don't know. It's an invitation, and you've started the initiation. So it's easy for demonic realms to get in there. Like, oh, this person wants to be a part of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so that can be very deadly. But when you look at ancient through Native American culture to most cultures where they're talking about seances, there's the mirrors, of course, there's automatic writing. There's a bunch of different ways of communicating the dead. Automatic writing became very popular in the 90s with a psychic who still, actually to this day, it's $1,000 an hour to hire him. And he does the automatic writing, where he'll just sit there and he'll have a legal pad with a pencil and he'll just start doing this.
And because he's getting it,
the spirits
writing down
take over
what's coming in. Yeah, got it.
We met somebody recently at a Paracon that actually draws portraits of the people that you're either going to end up with, or the people that used to be in another life, or somebody that meant something to you. And that was pretty cool, what she was doing. So we might have her on the podcast soon. But the origin of American Ouija boards, because a lot of people don't, I think we touched on this. Halloween is new to America. It's turn of the century from the 19th, right? So you're going 1900s, Gilded Age, Halloween starts to become a thing, right? So we have 124 years of Halloween. That's about it. But in other countries, it's been there forever. So Parker Brothers, which a lot of people don't know this, But the actual Ouija board is made in Salem, Massachusetts. And it says it on the board.
Yeah.
Because Parker Brothers is in Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah, right.
There was a interesting story that I heard when I was there in Salem, which I highly recommend everybody go there. It's just not what I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cheesy, actually. It's not like Sleepy Hollow, New York, where you have this beautiful legacy and lore of,
right,
these amazing writers. And where Salem is a little bit more kind of plays into it. Like, the cop cars have the pentagram as a sheriff star.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's really played up. It's
gotcha.
like, whoa, it's on the news.
So they lean into it.
They really lean into it. I mean, it's where they make most of their money. The towns around Salem are actually more haunted, and they actually have more witch stories than Salem, more trials. And the big thing there, of course, is that America never burned witches at the stake. So I will push back on some of Billie Eilish's music.
Didn't they see if they would float instead and like push
Correct.
them into the water, right?
Yeah.
But
Correct.
then like you can't win that one, can
Well,
you?
you were tied to a rock.
Yeah,
So,
so it's like
there is a story of a lady that actually was managed to free herself.
Yeah.
And they just left her alone.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. At that point, it was like, okay, well,
nobody messed with the lady that got loose.
You were,
yeah.
So hung, drowned, and crushed.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of that.
So Giles Corey, of course.
A lot of that. What is like the understood or like famous version of that story is not it at all. It's not accurate at all. The true details are much different than
Ouija boards are linked to most of the biggest possession cases that have ever been written about and tried.
Yeah.
And from the Haunted Boy here in 1949, the Exorcist case here, that was based on a Ouija board. The Aunt Tilly was very spiritual, believed in this stuff, and was trying to get the young boy into it, which was Ronald Edward Hunkler. So in the beginning of that film, if you watch it, she's actually playing with a kind of invented and made Ouija board. Ouija boards have been used. Witchboard was a big movie in the 80s. Talked a lot about Ouija. That film was terrible, but in general, you should not be you should never play the board alone. And if you are playing it with somebody, you have to learn how to properly close the board.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people just keep this thing open. It's like, okay, so before you know it, you have God knows how many entities around you at that point. And people are like probably listening to this and being like, this is complete nonsense.
Well, so that's why I wanted to ask it. That's why I brought it up, because everybody, I didn't know for sure where you stood on it, but I had a pretty good idea, but I wanted to hear it because everybody that I know that is into this stuff, that is like you guys and, investigators that have done their history and have experiences and things like that. Every one of those people that I've ever talked to talk about how serious it is when you're messing around with a Ouija board and it's not something to be played with. And it is something that can be very dangerous. Dan, do you agree with Frankie? What are your
Oh yeah. I mean, I agree totally. It's, we all have our experiences with the Ouija boards and our stories with them and stuff. And people don't realize when they're playing with it, they think they're talking to their loved one, or I want to talk to my mom or my grandma.
Yeah.
And those spirits will act like who you want them to be when they're not who they are.
Yeah.
And stuff. So we've all done, man, I used to play with them in the cemetery because that was the thing. We tried to talk to the people that we were, on top of their tombstone. And I had a bad experience of actually something really happening with the Ouija board. And I was like, nope, I'm done. This is it. Done for me.
Can it be like we talked about? You talk about Parker Brothers. I think you still can. I know you could before. You could buy a Ouija board, next to Monopoly in the next to the board games. And
does it actually like work? Like, does it move your hand by
it's two
like,
components.
How does it work?
It's based on it's a South American ritualistic thing where it used to be a glass ball that rolled over certain letters and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so the planche, which is this, kind of like spade-shaped device that has 3 legs on it, and it's got felt underneath it, so it's very light. And your energy. So a lot of times when we're doing paranormal investigations, we use a thing called K2 meters, EVP. So EMF, sorry. So electronic magnetic fields. The same concept applies here. The problem with that is we're not using EMF, we're using our own energy. And that's where the problem is. So when people say, "Oh, well, you do the same thing with an EMF reader or a spirit talker," we're actually not. We're actually not. We're not
Do they
using
talk
our
like
energy.
that when they have
100%. It's always the same guy.
But here's what I
Flip
wanted
flops
to
and like slacks on.
Here's what I wanted to ask. Like, is every Ouija board the same? Like the one that you buy in the
Or the
board
one you
game
make,
aisle? Like, is that really the same tool that can be as dangerous, or does it have
But
to
yeah,
be?
because you can make your own Ouija board.
Yeah, well, do you, like, does it have to be the right people or the
like
right
what components really go into it to make it happen?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm asking that
'Cause
question right, but
You
I've
are.
heard that people just move their finger, right?
Is it just everything? Is it?
Well, you're not, because you're actually it's
You're
a
not doing
symbiotic
anything.
movement, right?
Right.
If me and you were to touch something together and then tried to spell something that we didn't know what we were spelling, you'd be like, "What are we spelling?" And I don't know. But the thing that's moving it is
It moves your hand, or it moves
it absolutely.
you don't move it.
You just put it
You don't
lightly.
move
You
it.
just use your
you have
you
to
touch
use
it
it-
very
yeah.
lightly, and the planchette moves itself.
Yeah.
That's the
You don't move
spirit
it.
or
It's
whatever
creepy.
moves it.
Yeah, like
The
what's
first
the
couple-
science between the
If you're moving
planchette?
it, then it's
Yeah.
not working.
Is
Yeah.
there science
Well,
that
everybody-
backs up
that's
how
the-
these things are made? Like that makes it?
Well,
I mean,
that's
like,
the thing that
companies
everybody
are
always says, like,
manufacturing it,
"Oh,
right?
you're pushing the plant, you're pushing it."
Yeah.
So when we played with it, like a big debunker thing, we blindfolded people and then we spun the board around so they didn't know which way the board was.
Right.
And then you get correct
That's a
answers
good
out
way
of
to do
there.
it. That's a really
then you're
good
gonna
way.
say, well, that guy couldn't push the board because he don't know what's the chances of yes or no is a 50,
Will
where
it
it's
always
at.
work? Like, does it always do it?
No. The first couple of days you have it, it won't work at all. It needs to know how serious you are. So case in point, when I played it, my first experience with the paranormal was very bad.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was terrible. There's a time sequence that happens when you get addicted to the board. So the board is just like anything else in the paranormal. Just like locations, people get very addicted to locations and it starts kind of enveloping you, which, a lot of times, like the place that we were actually doing our ghost hunts at we originally went there because we felt that our friend was spending too much time there. And that's something that we got to check you, man. Like you gotta come back to reality, man. You got to get out of this place. With the Ouija board, case in point, we had a spirit by the name of Tom Sabo. And I never forgot this, but, we had a terrible experience with that, and I lost animals. Things were weird. There was cold spots in the house. There was shadow figures everywhere. No matter who came over there, they're like, man, it's dark in here. Like, it's not, all the lights are on, but you would see like things like run. And then once you start seeing those shadow figures, you're in the wrong realm. That's not disembodied.
You've
That's
gone too
demonic.
far?
It's too far. Shadow people are not disembodied people. Humans are human ghosts, disembodied ghosts that come from human is very different from something from the dark. It is, and it's a different feeling altogether. When we talk about room temperature and the temperature dropping, it's not necessarily the actual environment. It's yours. You feel colder. So case in point, when we had the Ouija board when I was 12 and all those occurrences happened, I wouldn't get back on a Ouija board close to 30 years, 35 years.
Why would you ever? So
Jeremy,
all these I know, but I mean,
he's not here to defend himself. It was Jeremy's fault.
We're in Let Mansion.
If it's all
and-
so bad and negative and dangerous, and you're opening yourself up to all these terrible things, why does it? I understand why people are doing it
It's curious.
when it's a goof.
Yeah, it's curious.
But why would somebody like you do it? Like somebody that knows the danger. Why would you? Is there still a benefit? Can you still, as far as like your paranormal investigations, can you still get positive information or confirmation or anything?
You don't know what's true or what's fake,
Or is it just
or what's not real.
Yeah. So is there any benefit if you truly understand what's going on? Is there any benefit to your investigation or?
Well, when Jeremy pulled it out in Let Mansion,
when
we were there, and this was when we started our documentary film, we went into this room. There was ones they sell them there. He's like, "Let's play. Let's just play." I'm like, "No, I don't do that, man. I told you that." He's like, "Yeah, but you were a kid. You don't know if that was real or not, or your imagination." I said, "You know what? That's a good point." So we start playing, and it's moving, and that movement, immediately that it's not you,
right?
And it's not the other person.
Yeah,
it's a specific movement. I can tell you right now if somebody's pushing it. I'll tell you he's pushing it, and I'll say, "Get off the board. You're cheating." I know what it looks like when it's not. I've seen the planchette fly across the room. I've seen things that you shouldn't do.
That's why I like the blindfold and like Dan said, blindfold and spin it, and that way you can't cheat.
So we're playing it, and then Jeremy's like, if the Ouija board is true, then who am I with? And what was his address with the events that happened to him? Okay. Now, this is how crazy it is. Jeremy knew I was from Florida. He always assumed I was from Miami my whole life. That's not true. I grew up in Miami till about 13 years old. And then I moved to Broward County. Okay. I lived in Southwest Ranches. My address at Southwest Ranches was 5921 Southwest Ranches. Okay. Southwest 195 Terrace. So we're playing the board, and all of a sudden it does this weird movement. It goes to the moon, it goes across goodbye, and then back to the sun. And I knew exactly who it was. I said, Tom, is that you? And he's like, big circle, yes.
The spirit that you
Yes.
had the interaction with.
Yes,
when you
but
were
this-
12 years old
Yes.
in Florida.
100%. But this spirit, I still believe is good. He was the one that told me never play the board again and get off the board. Get it and burn it, get a priest. That's what the board was actually telling us. And he knew exactly when I was on it. And then Jeremy thought I was BSing him.
The board, wait, it like spelled out, like stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom's movements, every spirit has a movement. So when you have different people that try to pretend to be, it's not them because of the way. So you would have signs with your spirits, like, all right, show me the code. And his code was already to the moon, across goodbye, and then back to the sun. That was Tom. So, and he would know that. And the minute he did that, I was like, oh boy. And then Jeremy's like, what's going on? I said, I think that's Tom. And he says, Tom. And he went, yes. And it's just this beautiful, like, crescendo of movement. It's not somebody pushing. It's two people.
It's like a glide.
Yes.
It's like a gliding movement.
And
real
it's unique,
smooth.
just like everybody's movements are unique to themselves.
Even the
Same
movies
way.
get it wrong. Like, it's not, you can even see in the movie it's acting, right? That's not how it moves. And my other buddy from Haunted Soul Society, Nick, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Because he had a bad experience with a Ouija board too. But case in point, Jeremy was like, oh, you're BSing me. He's like, what was Frankie's address? And I SU not. That thing went 5921. And I was like,
wow.
I'm done. Fast.
I'm done.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Frankie's like, nope.
And then that board went goodbye.
Yeah.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah,
and
and
you
it's
can
like,
mostly too, like when you push, you can hear the felt go.
Yes. You can hear it, it'll screech.
It'll screech, and that's not.
If
They
you're
always
the one
think, oh,
doing it.
that's a cool
It
creature.
should not make any
No,
sense.
it should just glide.
Yeah, but and then of course the argument to that is, well, if it's not if you're not the one doing it and it's not cheating, then why do you even have to touch it in the first place? It's your energy that's
Your
being
energy
used,
is
right?
It's the
Correct?
same
Yeah.
with the EMF detector. It's the same with cat balls. It's the same with any device that we are actually making our own equipment now. Because some of the equipment out there is just not doing it for me. I'm like, it's just not right. So having the experience we've had over our lifetime, we're actually starting to make equipment now. And it's like, if they really want this to work correctly, then they should buy it from people that actually do this every day.
Yeah.
And there are things about these equipment that's out there. A, it's way overpriced. It shouldn't be that expensive. And then B, it shouldn't move that way. It shouldn't work that way. Like there's these new things that all became, the ghost candle. And you talk to the candle and it blinks and it comes on. It's complete BS. If you just sit in a room and it does nothing, it'll eventually just go on and it'll blink and it'll go off.
Yeah.
So you just got to catch it in the right one.
Right.
But when you're doing like spirit talking and you're in Emmaus Village, which is our location.
Yeah, I want to talk about that next. So yeah, for sure.
So we're sitting in there and his daughter, Madison, is on this. She's doing Estes method. So Estes method is when you're going to blind yourself, and it's for brave people. I know he says she's not brave.
Here,
But
hold on. Let's take a break. I want to hear
go
this
ahead.
whole story, and I want to talk about. I want to get the latest at Emmaus and update everybody on all that stuff. So we're going to continue the conversation with Frankie and Dan from the Haunted Garage and the Paranormal Souls, and we'll roll on with all that here next on Colombo Company.
News, analysis, opinion.
They're literally taking the Constitution and putting it in a paper shredder.
News Talk STL.
SR1 Sundays.
Hey, this is Aaron Dorff from the Missouri Firearms Coalition. Don't miss our new show, Shall Not Be Infringed, this coming and every Sunday as part of SR1 Sundays. Tune in for Stand and Fight with Nick Schroer at 6, Next Gen with Dane Define at 8, and my show, Shall Not Be Infringed at 9. See you then.
SR1 Sundays.
Sunday night at 6 on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
When you hear Democrats complain about foreign interference in our presidential elections, I want you to remember this. Last weekend, Ukraine's President Zelensky flew into Pennsylvania on an Air Force C-17. He was touring the Scranton plant that makes artillery shells we were sending to Ukraine. Forbes now reports Ukraine can make its own shells, so this could have been considered a visit to simply see and thank the workers. But Zelensky said something that raises a big flag, that this was a Democrat plot to help win Pennsylvania. A letter signed by 10 GOP House members states Zelensky was accompanied exclusively by Democrats, and Zelensky commented the Trump-Vance team was too radical. This appears to be a clear violation of the Hatch Act, prohibiting federal employees from engaging in political activities while on duty or using government resources. The Hatch Act doesn't affect Zelensky, but those Democrats using him as a prop in Pennsylvania, delivered on a U.S. Air Force plane, you know better. And aside from the Hatch Act, this is what Democrats claim Republicans do. Russian interference, a lie. Ukrainian interference, a fact.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
John Beal knows it right after a hailstorm. New roofing companies start popping up everywhere. But the Small Business Administration reports 96% of them go out of business within the first 5 years. So how good is that warranty? John Beal started in the roofing business, helping his granddad and his dad. Always offering the best roof, best price, best guarantee. John Beal Roofing, not some fly-by-the-night operation. Call my friend John, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
How are your windows doing this summer? Are they keeping the hot air out, keeping the cool air in? If you have any doubts at all, once you get a hold of Window World, simply the best for less. Give them a call today, 314-993-1800. Tim Jones here to tell you how awesome Window World is, one of only 2 window companies in the entire country that carry the coveted Good Housekeeping seal of approval. They've got a lifetime warranty, covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor, a double strength of glass, incredibly thermally efficient, for the first time ever, offering 0% financing plans up to 36 months. 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800, windowworld.com, windowworld.com.
I want you to know that McGuire Moving and Storage is silver certified, which means McGuire has a quality reputation helping older adults move local or long distance. And something else to know, Josh McGuire, president of McGuire Moving and Storage, is the only certified moving consultant in Missouri. I'll tell you, once you met Josh, you're going to know your move will be easy. And I fully endorse McGuire Moving and Storage. McGuireMoving.com.
No matter how big the event, Capriotti's can take care of all of your business or personal catering needs. With party trays, box lunches, a meatball bar, shareable salads, plus desserts and sides. Easy ordering is available via the Capriotti's app. Check it all out at Capriotti's.com.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Not all policies will qualify. Not available in all states.
Do you have over $10,000 in credit card debt? If you're feeling the financial impact with unprecedented economic challenges, DebtBlue is here for you. With DebtBlue's Success Guarantee, you pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved.
I'm just living sky high right now. So I'm very thankful for it. And the team at DebtBlue are phenomenal. They're able to work with you. They're great.
Call for your free debt resolution information now. 800-200-6895. 800-200-6895.
On the next
Larry Connors USA.
What we are learning about the Secret Service fails to protect Donald Trump. It is not good.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
I'm telling you, the conversation never stops.
We need like an
We need to like
off-air
this. Yeah, we need to
podcast,
keep
too.
the there needs to be a live stream of the breaks during these conversations.
Every
Welcome-
Tuesday we live stream.
Dude,
You're welcome to come on, brother.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, awesome stuff. You know what? Before we get back into it, remind people where they can find. I mean, obviously, Haunted Garage is every Saturday night. The radio show is every Saturday night, 9 o'clock here on News Talk STL. You can check it out. You can also go to basically, just like with Colombo Company, just basically any podcast platform you can find Haunted Garage podcast. But also like
we have Beyond the Shadows,
yeah.
which is our live stream network through Haunted Souls.
Mhm.
That's every Tuesday night. We come on around 7 o'clock. We go to about 9. You can do that on Facebook and TikTok, right?
Yep.
They're
No,
both live. Not
YouTube.
TikTok.
YouTube. Yep.
So YouTube and Facebook will be
under Haunted Souls
Under Haunted
Paranormal.
Souls
Just
Paranormal.
follow Haunted Souls Paranormal, and you'll see it come up. If you're on that time, you'll see live. It's coming on, and then
Yeah.
the show comes on, and then usually it's me, Madison, and Jeremy actually joined us from Blue Mound this week, so that was fun.
That's cool
To have Jeremy on there.
Yeah. That's awesome. So we got Frankie here. We've got Dan from Paranormal Souls here as well. Just talking about Ouija boards in that last segment, and I could keep going with that topic forever. But I wanted to switch gears and talk about what you sort of rolled out last week. The Emmaus Village. Is that the right way to say it?
Yes, EmmausVillage.com is officially up. You can purchase tickets for the 16th right now, and they are selling out fast because we're only doing 30 tickets. So if you're thinking about ghost hunting with us, and this is a fun thing, last week, and we were at Missouri State Penitentiary. One of our fans from our radio show came out and ghost hunted with us.
Nice.
So that was awesome. John Dunker came out and he had a great time. He had a blast. It was his first time. And he really just had heard so many stories on the podcast and on the radio show. And he was like, I need to come out with you guys. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And then he literally came. He was like, he came, pulled up, and he was dressed all in black. He's like, all right, what do we do now? And I'm like,
so what is the main, as you have made this connection, and what's so exciting about Emmaus is that it is something that has not been
correct
open to the public in any major way.
None.
Yeah. So this is a new location for paranormal investigators. It's you guys have the exclusive rights, so everything goes through Haunted Garage and Paranormal Souls, and so which is super cool. And I think you're still learning about this property and everything that's there.
Right.
We talked last week. I mean, there's so much going on because it's such a big property. Even the land, it's not just also in the building, but the land. What are the things that that are starting to become like the main sort of focus for you guys right now? Like, what are some of the more interesting, more active sort of developments that are happening? And
we were in Missouri State Penitentiary, which is a great facility. I plead with people to make sure you check that place out. God knows what it'll be in 5 years. Hopefully they're not going to tear it down, but there's a lot of rumors in the air that they want to make that something else now. And so you just never know what the state can do. This is privately owned, this property, so it ain't going anywhere.
Right.
And having the exclusive rights for 4 years to basically host other teams that want to come in and do their own events, that's fine. So we're opening it up to pretty much everyone. Right now, what me and Dan are doing is our own investigations, and this place is very, very active. And
which probably makes it hard to determine where you want to focus if there's so much going on. But are you trying to focus on one spot, or
basically try to work our way up the first building here?
We're still in the basement.
One floor, one floor
Right.
at a time. Unfortunately, it's just so big that it's just hard to get everywhere that we want to get to. And I mean, we got a Frankie did a cool clip, 1 minute, 10-second clip about the building. And I've gotten numerous psychics and mediums say, I don't have to go in there. That place is haunted. I see it. I feel it just watching this video that place is haunted.
Yeah. And she was pretty 90% of what she was saying. Like, unless she did, I mean, I don't know how she could have done it, but she knew exactly that's a doctor and that place was for the men's, and she knew, like, it just came to her.
Yeah.
And we invite everyone to, and that's one of the reasons why the November 15th is a expert ghost hunter night. So these are all the teams from Missouri, Indiana. They're all coming out on Friday night, which is a cool night just to come. But that's for the team night. So team nights, and we're giving that complimentary. And then anything more than 2 of the team, they pay $50 to get in. So if they want to bring 5 members, that's cool. 2 are free, and the other 3 have to pay the $50. But we're just trying to do that as complimentary to kind of bring these people here, because we talked about this, we're losing paranormal places in Missouri, and also preservation, right? That's the real focus is preserving this place. That's where that money is going. Aside from funding what we're doing and what we're trying to do and promote. But we're actually going to be speaking at a paranormal conference next weekend on Emmaus Village in Indiana, Columbus, Indiana. And I think there's tickets available, but Ghost Brothers are going to be there.
Yeah, it's an
event. The Bigfoot guy is going to be there, so it's going to be fun for me. Can't wait to come after him. Still looking for Pope. But yeah, so it's at
Ghost Fight.
Tales from the Crump. It's actually the Crump Theater, which is the oldest theater in Indiana.
Okay, cool.
So it's in and of itself, it's haunted. They're doing a big Paracon down there. So we're going to be speaking about Emmaus Village for 2 days. And so in that journey of us talking, we've decided to do a couple different things that nobody else is doing at these events. And I won't reveal that now. We'll reveal that soon.
Yeah,
but
that's cool.
we saw some angles that when we go to these places, like, man, they really should be doing this, this, and this. And Dan's like, well, then we are going to do that. You know, it's nice.
Yes.
Then we'll do that. But it's a place where you don't feel, if you're new to ghost hunting, if you're new to investigations, I know the possession stuff and the paranormal stuff can get scary and invitations can get scary. But we promise you that you will do it the right way and you will be with experts, and like, we will tell you, you shouldn't bring that on site. You shouldn't do that.
Right. You take the proper steps of protection and all of that. And,
and that's when ghosts get
home
guarded,
and-
right? Because the worst thing that can happen is you do bring, so one of the things that I think we experienced, me and your daughter experienced last week, was we had people that had gone to the Sally house, but not just gone to it, a little bit of obsession with it. Like they had spent the night there 2 nights in a row. Do not go to the Sally house. The Pickmans will tell you that.
What's the
Do
Sally
not
house?
go. Sally
One of the
house
most
is
haunted locations.
Yeah, it's in Atchison, Kansas.
Yep.
It's demonically haunted.
Yeah.
It was never cleared. They never brought the Catholics in. And I'm sorry if the Catholics weren't there. I love all the other religions, but they don't have the sacrament. They just don't. They're not pure people. You have to be pure to do the rite of exorcism. That's why the Ed and Lorraine stuff is all BS. They never did exorcism. Ed was never ordained by the Catholic. That's all. It's all coming out now. But Malachi Martin was their priest. And if you look at the early videos, he's in every one of those videos. It was Malachi Martin doing those exorcisms until the demon finally got him. One of them, he was killed by a demon, a 4-year-old girl.
That's a
killed.
whole Ed and Lorraine. That's a whole.
Oh yeah,
that's a series.
Oh my gosh, that we could go
They
on
were
for-
demons.
I mean,
I've
there's
learned a lot about them.
like exorcisms, right? But then what is deliverance, right? Can't you deliver somebody, right?
You can.
That's just another form.
So-
That's another religion's form of an exorcism.
Yeah,
would be the deliverance.
But
Yeah,
they can't clear, and that's the problem. That's why Sally House, the people. So the tourism now in this part of Kansas doesn't go in the house. They don't stay in the house. If you want to rent the house, you make a phone call and they open it up. They buzz the door. They won't even go in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened there?
Yeah, the people that are haunted that own it that manage it. They
Wow.
they don't stay
Yeah.
with you.
No,
Yeah.
you sign you go online and you click the time you want, and they give you a code, and then you punch the code in, and you get a 2-hour tour on your own. That's
They
it.
won't
You
go
go in for 2 hours. There's nobody there. There's
That's
nothing.
crazy.
You just go in the house.
Nobody lives there anymore.
I've been told numerous times by like the psychic that works on our team. We were talking about going, and she's like, "Do not go in that house."
Do not go in. Every
She's like,
psychic will say
I
that.
don't want you to go in that house. She goes, "You don't need to go in that house." I'm like, "What, are they gonna pick on me? what is the deal? Why
But
don't
if
you
you're
want me
but
to
if
go?"
you're a paranormal investigator whose life is dedicated to proving the existence of the paranormal, isn't that
Yeah.
exactly where you need to
No.
go?
Well,
I
if
don't-
it's-
we don't
if
prove
it's
demonic.
If it's demonic, no, then
you don't need to
that's
prove
not
that.
something we don't.
That's
you know,
there.
I've been there. Me and Maddie were on the outside of it. We took pictures, and it looks just like a normal, like a 2-bedroom
Yeah,
house.
and
It
it's
don't
kind
look
of on a
nothing-
normal street, right?
Yeah.
With like neighbors, basically, which is makes
Well,
it-
the house next to it, no one lives in it anymore either. They
right.
were
But I
done.
mean, but it's
Yeah.
not like it's isolated. Is what
No,
I'm saying.
it's not like
on
a
the
house
street.
on the hill or something
Yeah,
like
It's
that.
actually where the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs.
What's the
just gave
backstory
their
on
speech.
it?
Bucker?
Yeah,
Is it-
Harrison Bucker just gave the
Mm.
speech down the street. That was a big controversial because he said, love God.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
everybody's
yeah.
like, oh God, don't do that.
What's the real quick backstory? Because I want to before we're out of time, I got
Atchison?
yeah.
Tony and Deborah Pickman had bought the house. They started seeing they had 2 boys and Deborah always wanted a girl. They started seeing this apparition of a young child, a young girl. And Deb became obsessed with it. Tony was kind of on the fence with it. But then there was a Christmas, and that's where everything kind of like kicked off because she had gotten presents for it and invited it to be part of their family. And when she did that, then the invitation that starts infestation. If you want to go back into the podcast that we did here on the radio station on possession, it talks all about that. So you can listen to that of what infestation.
So they were trying to
stages of it.
trick them in the wife into believing that she could have her daughter if they
Correct.
and then that just
And then the picture. And once the picture comes, it was real bad.
We, like I said, thank goodness we are having this conversation every Friday through Halloween and maybe even beyond with the guys from Haunted Garage. Also, Dan from Paranormal Souls is here. We only have a couple minutes left. If people want to learn more, what did I say?
Paranormal Souls.
Haunted Souls. Did I say have I said Paranormal Souls
Yeah,
every
you
time?
said,
Haunted Souls.
I mean, it's your show. I don't want to correct you.
No, it's your business. Haunted Souls. Jeez. Sorry, Dan.
They are paranormal though. But
They
whatever.
are, yeah, Haunted Souls. If people want to learn more about Emmaus, they want to maybe try to get signed up before it's too late. Get that
Yes.
information. Where do they go?
EmmausVillage.com. HauntedSoulsParanormal.com. And then
Haunted Souls Paranormal. Maybe that's what I did. I flipped the words
Yeah.
around.
Yeah,
and then you got
paranormal.
the Haunted Emmaus Village on Facebook.
Yeah.
Come
And
follow
then
us.
shout out to the morning show who brought up one of my episodes on Dogman. That was cool.
Oh, that's cool.
That was nice to hear. So
That's great.
love hearing that the actual station is listening and they're getting into
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So Dogman will be the best of this weekend. So
Oh,
because they
nice.
mentioned it, I'm
yeah,
like, that's
listen
the
to that
perfect
show.
one.
Yeah, that's right. And Haunted Garage again every Saturday night, 9 p.m. here on News Talk STL. Haunted Souls Paranormal.com, the website to go to, Souls with a Z,
with a Z,
and then learn about everything there as well. All right, that's going to do it for us this afternoon. Have a great weekend and keep it right here for the O'Reilly Report next, followed by the Tim Jones and Chris Harp Show on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Out of the rain, when you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange, people are strange. When you're a stranger, faces look ugly. When you're alone, women seem wicked. When you're unwanted.
Hello, fans of the paranormal. I'm Frankie, host of the newest show on News Talk STL on a Garage. And we'll be discussing everything paranormal, from ghosts, demons, hauntings, and aliens to skinwalker, Bigfoot, fairies, and the Chupacabra. Every Saturday night between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., me and Jeremy will discuss mysterious events in St. Louis and surrounding areas, including gateway families and unsolved true crimes. That's right. It's all right here exclusively on News Talk STL from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Saturday night.
So the Federal Reserve makes a big cut in the Federal Reserve rates. What's that going to do to home mortgage rates? Well, already we're seeing they're dropping to close to 6%. Is this good news for you? You need expert advice. You need to contact Jen and Rodney Wallner, the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway. They have so many approved home buyers, they can guarantee you an offer, and they sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. So with this rate drop now, is this a good time to sell? A good time to buy? Go to the experts, Jen and Rodney, a husband-wife team, the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway. You call them right now, 314-810-SOLD, 314-810-SOLD, and say, listen, that interest rate cut, does that benefit me? Find out. Get it from the experts.
Are you ready to stand against tyranny, strengthen the conservative movement, and enjoy tasty barbecue? Don't miss the 4th annual Missouri Young Republicans Freedom Fest Barbecue. Join us Saturday, October 12th at the St. Louis County GOP headquarters in Fenton. We've got an exciting lineup of invited speakers and mouthwatering barbecue. RSVP now at stlyrs.com. That's stlyrs.com. Presented by News Talk STL and Missouri Young Republicans.
What's the key to maximizing the value of your outdoor space? Satisfaction. And getting a fence or deck that exceeds expectations with the highest quality American-made material. And working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. And adding safety and security for your family and pets to play, relax, and entertain. At STL Fenceworks, satisfaction is our core value. Doing it right the first time, standing above the competition. At stlfenceworks.com, your satisfaction is our passion.
Tim Jones here with Dr. Pat Fader of Comprehensive Chiropractic. Doc, I hear you all have a new treatment program for everyone's chronic knee pain.
Tim, that's right. We are helping patients with chronic knee pain by addressing the root cause of their condition.
And what makes your program so unique?
Well, Tim, many programs focus on just one component of the problem, the structural component. Our program focuses on the metabolic and neurological component to complete the picture and improve our patients' outcomes. We get to the root cause of what is driving inflammation in a person's body and address it directly.
For your chronic knee pain and more, visit cchiropractic.com. All information, make an appointment at cchiropractic.com.
Bill O'Reilly here. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update, sponsored by Tax Network USA, America's #1 choice for tax resolution. Please go to tnusa.com/bill or call 800-245-6000. Coming up next, the news with Mike Slater.
Thank you, Bill. It's Friday, September 27th, 2024. Here's what's happening today in America. Hurricane Helene, deplorable double down. Ice, Boston, and Worth, the broken leg. That's all coming up. And Bill's going to be here with your message of the day. But first, Hurricane Helene, a Category 4 storm, will threaten well-built framed homes with severe damage, potentially losing both roof and walls. Most trees are snapped or uprooted, and power poles are downed. The Hurricane Center says that power outages will last weeks, possibly months. Most of the area will be uninhabitable for weeks or months. What? Ron DeSantis says that there are 18,000 linemen staged, ready to move in once the storm passes to restore power. The Florida National Guard has 3,500 soldiers and airmen ready. The Florida State Guard has 10 shallow water vessel boat teams, 7 flat-bottomed flood rescue skiffs, 2 amphibious rescue vehicles, 12 UTVs, 15 cut and toss crews, 7 search and rescue teams, 2,100 Florida Department of Transportation personnel working for storm response, 858 generators for traffic signal power. Florida's as ready as they can be. Remember in 2016, Hillary called half of Trump supporters deplorables? The even worse part was irredeemable. Well, she doubled down. She said, I was talking about the people who were drawn to his racism, sexism, homophobia, xenophobia, Islamophobia, you name it. And just look at everything that's happened in the years since, from Charlottesville to January 6th. The masks have come off. And if anything, deplorable is too kind of a word for the hate and violent extremism we've seen from some Trump supporters. ICE Boston announced another arrest, this time of an El Salvadorian MS-13 gang member who snuck in to the U.S. as a getaway. This is the same operation that took down 2 Salvadorian child rapists and 2 other illegal aliens charged with sex crimes. All of these child rapes were on the island of Nantucket, and still not a peep from the people of Nantucket. A 79-year-old woman went on a hike in Ashford, Washington by herself, 3.2-mile trail. She's done it many times. But at the top, she broke her leg. Fortunately for her, 2 young men were there to come to her rescue. Troy May, 20 years old, he's an airman at the nearby Air Force Base. He said, I knew I was capable of carrying her down. I really didn't make much of a decision. I just knew I needed to carry her down if I could. The woman said, I was just overwhelmed with gratitude that these people literally came out of the woods to help me, and they were totally unselfish and kind. I thought these people were behaving like angels coming from the sky. I'm Mike Slater from the podcast Politics by Faith. Bill O'Reilly has your message of the day. Next.
Did you know every day is a perfect day for peace of mind? With American Home Shield Warranty, you are covered for unexpected breakdowns like leaky faucets or faulty water heaters. Choose a plan that fits your budget and rest easy knowing repairs and replacements are taken care of. Simply contact American Home Shield when an issue arises, and their trusted pros will handle it according to your coverage. Don't let worries about appliances and home systems weigh you down. Celebrate the reassurance of protection. Don't worry, be warranty. For 20% off plans, visit ahs.com/bill. For more details, see ahs.com/contracts for coverage details, including limit amounts, fees, limitations, and exclusions.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton.
honesty, integrity, humility, purpose. We're looking for people that share these values. As an officer in the Springfield, Missouri Police Department, you'll train in a state-of-the-art facility, learn special skills, and most importantly, learn that being humble through it all builds a better community. Our next training academy starts soon. Work hard and dedicate yourself to the craft, and I promise you'll have some amazing opportunities. Visit gospd.com for more information. That's gospd.com. Brought to you by the Springfield, Missouri Police Department.
Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. On this Friday, I hope you did not watch the PBS program Frontline on Tuesday because it was a fraud. And it's a fraud that we, the people, the taxpayers, are funding to the tune of $550 million a year to the public broadcasting company. The program was assessing both political candidates for president, Trump and Harris. The problem was that Frontline brought in 15 people to disparage Trump. No one on the entire hour disparaged the vice president. So it's 15 anti-Trump, no one dissenting from Kamala Harris. So let me ask you, does that seem fair? It's portrayed as a news documentary. Now, I could go over the distortion, and it was one after the other, but the fix was obviously in. When you lead with Mary Trump, all right, the former president's niece, who hates his guts and has made millions of dollars hating him, when you lead with that front line, you're not being fair. And the $550 million that the public broadcasting operation gets is funding a fraud. I'm Bill O'Reilly. I approve the message by writing it. You can reach me, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, name and town if you wish to opine. Now let's go to the mail. Curtis Skelton, Monica, Pennsylvania, thank you for the annual membership gift. I'm enjoying confronting the presidents. I never knew Aaron Burr's wife filed for divorce and used Alexander Hamilton's son as her attorney. We got stuff like that on every page. Okay, and I'm glad you're liking Confronting the Presidents. And I'm glad you re-upped your membership to BillO'Reilly.com. If you re-up or become a new member, you get Confronting the Presidents free or any of my other killing books. The best deal around.